Good morning, Kitchissippi. It is Sunday, October the 6th. This is a video version of the 407th Kitchissippi Weekly Ward newsletter, to which you can subscribe at kitchissippiward.ca. I think I've got a fairly brief one for you this weekend, so let's dive right in. The first item on the blog is with respect to a blog post I put online about the track noise that residents are experiencing north of Beach through the Trillium line, so that's the line 2. What's occurring there is a point at which the tracks cross over one another, so the trains can move from one track to the other. At the point at which the tracks meet, it's called a frog, there is a dip. Modern frogs are profiled optimally for the wheels that are going to cross over them. In this case, the contractor has used, as they're allowed to, an older piece of infrastructure that's left over from the previous Trillium line. But it means that there is a dip in the frog. As the train wheels come across it, they're going down and up, and it's making a loud kerchunk. It's an unacceptably loud noise. It's keeping residents up at night. It's waking them up in the morning. Thankfully, the city does have a fix. Modern frogs are profiled for the wheels that are going to cross over them, and in this case, the fix is to build the metal up on the rail. It's more straightforward than it sounds, in order to optimally work with the train wheels, particularly for those Stadler flirts that are coming online. The procurement is complicated. There's only so many people who can properly design and implement this fix. So the city is still working through procurement. I'm hoping that this is a matter of weeks, definitely not months, but it is important that we get that done. I have more information in the newsletter for those who want to catch up on the latest. Second item in the newsletter is I have posted the CMHC's most recent August numbers for the Ottawa area into my monthly tracker. We saw in August that we actually had very high completions, some of the higher ones that we've seen over the course of the last 4 years, mostly apartments, but the number of units that are under construction right now in Ottawa has fallen to levels that are probably around 2022 levels. There's not a lot of shovels in the ground, about 14,000 units that are under construction in the city right now. We'll keep an eye on that. That pipeline of housing has to accelerate. Builders need to start taking advantage of the permissive zoning permissions that we've given them and start getting some shovels in the ground. But you can take a look at the most recent numbers at kitchissippiward.ca. I have a link in the newsletter. I do have pop-up office hours coming up on October the 11th. Those will be held from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. at the Ministry of Coffee, which is down on Wellington Street. Hope to see you there. Those are an opportunity to come by anytime during those hours without appointment to chat with me one-on-one about whatever's on your mind. I also have a pointer in the newsletter with respect to the joint budget consultation that Councillor Troster and myself are going to be hosting along with the city on October the 16th. That will be virtual. There is a Zoom link that is in the newsletter. Register, let us know what you think about this year's municipal budget. Another reminder with respect to the in-person zoning workshops, you know that there is a new comprehensive zoning bylaw that is being worked on in the city. It will change much of the zoning citywide, allow significant new density to come in. There is a series of open houses that are in person, bolstering the virtual open houses that have been held. The one that's going to be closest to us is on October the 22nd at City Hall. There's information in the newsletter about how you can attend that and what you can expect. On the Committee of Adjustment, I can only repeat the files that are on the agenda for the October 16th meeting. At 484 Roosevelt, the owner is seeking to divide the property into two to build 2 long semis with a shared driveway. At 455 Dawson, the owner is seeking permission for reduced lot areas for the construction of a 2-story semi-detached dwelling that will contain 6 units. And at 451 Roosevelt, something I haven't seen before, the owner is seeking to reverse a previous consent for subdivision. The proposal has to be reworked due to some structural issues, so the owner is seeking to cancel the permission they've been previously granted, and they'll come forward with a reworked proposal sometime in the future. With respect to community news, the Wickedly Westboro is back. That is always an amazing event. There is a scavenger hunt from October the 12th until 31st. Explore Westboro Village to find all 5 spooky buds haunting our neighborhood. You could win one of 10 ghoulish goodie bags valued at over $100 each. And once again, there will be Wickedly Westboro Trick or Treating. Join us for Westboro Village's annual free trick-or-treating event from 1 until 4 p.m. on Saturday, October the 26th. I have some more details in the newsletter. Kitchissippi United Church is hosting its Rummage Sale October 18th and 19th. On Friday the 18th, that'll be held from 7 till 9 p.m. On Saturday, October 19th, it will be held from 9 a.m. until noon there at 630 Island Park Drive. And All Saints is hosting its annual Bazaar on November the 2nd. They will have crafts, knitting, used books, vintage collectibles, jams, preserves, lots of different stuff. Watch the website at allsaintswestboro.com for updates. That's going to be held on Saturday, November the 2nd from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. We are still busy at City Hall, having come back from a relatively quiet summer, thankfully. The Built Heritage Committee, once again, I spoke about this last week, they're meeting on October the 8th. It's a beefy agenda full of permissions and designations. In our ward, it's important to note the developer appeal of the 501 Heritage designation is back before us. The developer took advantage of their statutory appeal right. City staff have recommended that committee and council stay the course, and certainly that is how I intend to vote. The Planning and Housing Committee is going to meet on October the 9th. Number of rezonings, including rezonings on Greenbank, Renault, and March Valley. There's a big omnibus bill, if you will, or report of official plan amendments that take care of some housekeeping. That's the second round of those since we passed the official plan. Build Ottawa, which is the new name for the Ottawa Land Development Corporation, is coming forward with its reworked bylaws. I have a link to the agenda in the newsletter. New this week in the newsletter, there is a joint meeting that is going to be held immediately following the Planning and Housing Committee meeting. It's a joint meeting between Planning and Housing and the Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee. It's an important one, although the details can be a bit complex. The province, in its new provincial policy statement, has told cities that they have to entertain applications to add parcels within the urban boundary. That's the part of the city where you're allowed to develop, as those come in. So we don't have, we're no longer allowed to wait for big comprehensive reviews to entertain applications. Landowners have the right to bring those applications at any time. The city has proposed what I think is a very elegant way of dealing with that, so that it doesn't become a piecemeal Wild West development scenario. They are going to undertake a comprehensive review starting in 2025 to see how and if the urban boundary should be expanded. In the meantime, if developers want to apply separately from that comprehensive review, they can, but they will be on the hook for a number of expensive studies, staff time, and my advice to builders is participate in the comprehensive review process and collaborate with us on any future expansions of the urban boundary. The Transit Commission is going to meet on October the 10th. We're going to consider some information items that were brought to the last meeting, but for which we ran out of time to discuss. Those include inquiries about extending the free transit for seniors on Wednesdays and Sundays to paratranspo, and I know Councillor Hill also wanted to talk about speed restrictions. That was part of an inquiry that he made. The big report that we're going to be considering is an update on the electric bus procurement. The news that has come out of that report is that the city has abandoned plans to get 60-foot buses as part of that procurement. Those are the big, often articulated buses, and focus entirely on the 40-foot buses. I do have some concerns about focusing entirely on 40-foot buses. The staff, if I understand the report correctly, have pivoted to say that 15% of our fleet rather than 40 will eventually be those high-capacity buses. We know that we need those articulated buses on very busy routes like the 11, like the 14, right across the city, and I'm concerned about having too reduced an inventory of those to meet demand. So that should be an interesting discussion on October the 10th. 40-footer. And then the Environment and Climate Change Committee is meeting on October the 15th. It looks like a fairly workaday agenda. There are some updates that are going to be made to the solid waste bylaw. Those will bring it into compliance with the most recent policy decisions that Council has made around curbside waste collection. Interestingly, there is a portion of the new bylaw that will require new multi-residential buildings that are on containerized services to participate in organics collection. So that's good news. We'll look forward to that Environment and Climate Change Committee meeting coming up on October the 15th. Kitchissippi, that was all I had in the newsletter this weekend. I hope you've had a chance to enjoy some of this absolutely glorious fall weather. I hope you have a great week, and thank you for watching.